Around mid-May of 2167, the human world had already gone completely down the drain. Wreckage and ruins dominate the landscape as our MC struggles to breathe in the middle of the chaos. 7 years ago, all heck broke loose when several demon kings suddenly descended upon the earth. Leading the demon clan, these creatures crushed humanity with absurd strength. With pure contempt in its voice, the giant monster calls the human species trash. Red bolts of energy begin to crackle in the beast's hand, preparing the final blow. Demanding the warrior become his meal, the demon wants to forcibly absorb his power. In a swift defensive move, the frantic battle continues among the rubble. However, our hero's mind wanders, remembering the little sister he couldn't save. Painful memories of his comrades and master also invade his thoughts. Full of hatred, he screams in the enemy's face, accusing the monsters of taking everything from him. Determined not to go down alone, his body begins to glow with a self-sacrificial energy. Activating the ultimate SS ability, Terminus Arc, an explosion of light engulfs everything. Surprised by the desperate move, the demon can barely react to the blinding flash. Finally, our warrior's body starts to dissolve into particles of white light. Images of little sister shatter like glass in the MC's mind as he fades. Soon, his master's face also breaks apart, vanishing into the darkness of the void. Parents and friends appear in the fragments, leaving a bitter taste that he was too weak. As he slowly disintegrates, his only wish was to have been stronger to change everything. If he could go back in time, he swears he would stop the first Demon King from ever appearing. Maybe then he wouldn't have lost everything so early in that cursed war. Suddenly, the scene changes, and he startles awake in an unfamiliar bed. Patting down his own body, confusion hits hard when he realizes he's not gone. Looking around, the room seems strangely familiar and peaceful. Through the window, the university hospital's facade shines under the sun on a normal day. Staring at the glass, the shock of seeing so many people alive leaves him stunned. Sitting on the bed, it takes a moment for it to really sink in what just happened. In disbelief, he realizes he's gone back 10 years in time, straight to his college days. Just then, a digital sound beeps in the air, catching our MC's attention. A system message floats up, announcing that the fusion with the power of gluttony is complete and his return is confirmed. Checking his phone, the date shows May 16, 2157, confirming the time travel. Staring at the digital calendar, the certainty of having returned exactly 10 years solidifies. Doing some quick math, he notes there are 3 years until the arrival of the first Demon King. In the future, in 2160, the creature known as Wrath will descend to start the apocalypse. It was this cursed monster that opened the gates of the underworld, bringing the other kings in its wake. Memories of the total annihilation show how the world turned to ash because of it. But now, staring at his own hands, a golden opportunity is right in front of him. If he can defeat Wrath as soon as he appears, the gates of the underworld won't even open. Again, the gluttony power fusion complete. Notification flashes on the holographic screen. Curious about the floating interface, he notes that it appeared as soon as he opened his eyes. Analyzing the status screen, the name Sichen appears with various numerical data. Attributes like strength and speed are listed, looking like video game stats. Having never seen anything like it before, he wonders about the origin of this system. Back in the day, the Awakened used classic powers like mages and elemental warriors, and they were quite rare. Unfortunately, in his past life, he was a failure who didn't awaken during college and got bullied by everyone. He figures he woke up in the infirmary from getting beaten up by the bullies. Suddenly, the screen glitches and changes, revealing shocking new information. The Volt Assassin class appears, glowing with an SSS rating in front of him. Sparks start coming off his body, making him recognize the power from his previous life. Feeling the energy flow through his veins, the possibility of having awakened earlier excites him. Without wasting time, he decides to test his current strength by changing classes in the system. Just then, the door opens with a dull thud, interrupting his test. A young man with glasses enters the room, looking concerned. The guy quickly asks if his friend is feeling okay after passing out. Hiding the system screen, our MC replies that everything's cool now. Shocked, his friend notices that the injuries are gone, and the recovery was way too fast. Looking at his classmate, our hero recognizes Malong, his old roommate. In the past life, this friend did awaken but was taken out on the 3rd day of the demon invasion. Seeing his partner alive and well, the reality of his return hits him with a wave of emotion. Excited, Malong announces that the ranking evaluation is tomorrow and pulls the MC to get ready. Dragging our hero out the door, his friend insists that he participate even if he hasn't awakened yet. Outside, the sunset illuminates the university campus in a climate of absolute peace. Students walk around calmly and chat, unaware of the grim future ahead. Admiring the living crowd, our MC comments on how long it's been since he's seen so many people. Finding the comment a bit creepy, Malong suggests they take a walk around the field. Memories of the old destruction return to haunt Sai Chen's thoughts. Knowing that the desperate future will return if he stands still, the tension mounts. He immediately forms a plan and decides to level up as fast as possible. In this era, the only way to gain levels is by taking out monsters and demon lairs. However, these areas are monopolized by large guilds and sealed off with barrier tape. Checking his stats again, the question of his current strength level compared to others arises. Usually most students are stuck at E rank, which is the lowest. Only a few geniuses with support manage to reach D rank during college. Watching his chatty friend, our MC is certain he's already on a higher level. Out of nowhere, a ball comes flying violently and smacks poor Ma Long right in the face, interrupting his train of thought. With the solid impact of the ball, poor Ma Long goes straight to the ground, groaning in pain. From the top of the stairs, the gang responsible for the attack appears, laughing at the situation. Full of swagger, the big guy mockingly compliments the duo's quick recovery. Wiping his face, his friend laments their terrible luck for running into these guys. Taking their sweet time, the bullies come down the steps, surrounding their victims on the court. With a brazen smirk, the leader says he already knew they could take a hit. Soon, the ridiculous demand comes, requiring cases of drinks as payment for their little game. Trembling with fear, Ma Long apologizes and rushes to buy everything right away. However, our MC grabs his friend's arm and tells him he didn't do anything wrong. Suddenly, a liquid is poured on them for maximum humiliation. Without a shred of pity, the guys dump the bottle over their heads, making a huge mess on their uniforms. Desperate, the Four Eyes begs them to stop this nonsense. Smiling with pure malice, the bully asks why he should stop the fun. According to his twisted logic, he's just helping the newbie awaken the hard way. Surrounded by the goons, their malicious laughter echoes across the courtyard. Finding it boring that Si Chen didn't react, the gang decides to leave bored. Worried, Ma Long puts a hand on his partner's shoulder, asking if he's okay. But inside, anger boils as he questions why they can never be left in peace. It becomes clear then that pure evil doesn't just exist in demon lairs. Unfortunately, it also sprouts strong and cruel in the hearts of humans themselves. Taunting them again, the big guy insists on the story about the cases of drinks. Once again, his friend tries to give in and promises to get what they want. Firm as a rock, our boy repeats that the fault lies entirely with the aggressors. Not understanding such audacity, the bully stops and faces the challenge head-on. Terrified, Ma Long stammers, unable to believe his partner is talking back. This thug's name is Gong Cheng, and he lives for abusing the weaker kids at school. All this bravado only exists because his brother is the student council president. Soon, a crowd gathers around, waiting to see another live beatdown. On paper, one is E rank and the other hasn't even awakened yet. Activating the green energy in his hand, Gong Cheng readies his fist to attack. With his hand glowing with energy, the bully demands that the trash repeat what he said. Cool and calculated, our MC warns them not to bother him anymore from now on. Blinded by rage, the aggressor throws a heavy punch aimed at destroying his face. In a sharp, quick move, our boy blocks the attack with just one hand. Gritting his teeth, Gong Cheng feels the impact of the unexpected defense. The crowd is dumbfounded, not understanding how that devastating punch was stopped. Some students start to doubt if Si Chen really hasn't awakened. Humiliated, the big guy curses furiously, asking how a nobody dares to fight back. Seizing the perfect moment, the system initiates the class change on the spot. Golden lightning envelops his body, activating Volt Assassin mode. Seeing the electricity, his friend yells, asking when this happened. Cracking his knuckles, our hero feels the power flowing vibrantly through his veins. Refusing to accept the shame, Gong Cheng attacks again with earth armor. Charging like a bull, he promises to show him what it feels like to be on the brink. Si Chen easily dodges the blow and prepares a counter-attack. In the blink of an eye, an electric punch explodes violently into his rival's chest. In total shock, the crowd watches the bully fly back from the impact. Lying on the ground, the aggressor coughs and accuses him of a dirty sneak attack. Furious, he yells at his idiot goons who just stood there watching. Stuttering in fear, the cronies can't even move from their spots. Shrouded in shadows and lightning, our MC walks towards him like a demon. With a roar of hatred, Gong Cheng leaps, trying to crush his opponent. Stone fists hit the ground, opening huge craters in the court. Agile as a cat, Si Chen dodges everything without breaking a sweat. Staring the enemy down, he coldly states that his attack is way too weak. Soon, an insane sequence of electric blows punishes the bully's body. Finally, the big guy collapses against the wall, all beaten up and unconscious. Adjusting his glasses, Ma Long tries to process his friend's absurd strength. Looking at his own hand, our boy assesses the damage he just caused. He quickly draws some important conclusions about his new power level. First, he confirms he can switch to the assassin class at any time. Second, he notes that even at level 1, he's already stronger than any E rank awakened. However, an important detail still bothers him in this analysis. Checking the panel, he sees he didn't gain any experience from the fight, so he grabs the defeated bully by the neck, seeking a response from the system. Startled, his friend shouts, asking what he's planning to do now. Holding on tight, Si Chen tries to force some kind of XP gain reaction. Mentally, he wonders if the process works the same as in his past life. Suddenly, firm footsteps and a female voice cut through the tense atmosphere. Appearing majestically, the vice president announces that the punishment has been sufficient. Smiling, she assures them that Gong Cheng won't dare touch them again. Dropping the trash on the ground, our MC accepts her advice and backs off. Inwardly, he notes how quickly the student council showed up to defend one of their own. But he knows that if he doesn't instill real fear, the attacks will continue in the future. Casting one last terrifying glance, he ensures that no one will mess with him again. Rumors are already flying around campus, calling the duo useless and poor. With an ironic smile, the vice president observes our MC from a distance. Excited, Malong shouts to everyone that his friend is a super strong assassin now. Recalling the feat, he tells how the bully Gong Cheng was humiliated on the ground. In their room, a lazy guy is lying on the bed, waiting for them to return. Mockingly, the punk questions the logic of an awakened needing to practice running. Identified as Xiangzhu, an E-rank mage, he rules the roost. Unfortunately, the school's system put the 4 worst students in the same dorm room, creating a lame hierarchy. Xiang declares himself number 1 in the room. Showing off his painted nails, he scoffs, finding it impossible for a loser to have awakened a combat class. Ignoring the provocation, Malong reminds him that tomorrow's evaluation will prove everything. In the special training room, a magical flame burns intensely. Emerging from the fire, the student council president, Gong Ting, appears imposing. Finishing the day's training, he walks seriously with his elite team. Soon, he notices his younger brother waiting at the door with a long face. Whining, Gong Cheng demands revenge against the one who stained the family name. With just a curt nod, the older brother confirms he got the message. Cold and calculating, he promises to handle the problem personally. During dinner in a fancy hall, the conversation about the incident continues. In disbelief, one of the council members questions if the newbie is really that strong. The vice president reminds them that less than 10 students in the entire school have reached D rank. Arrogantly, she states that mediocre people can evolve quickly. Meanwhile, under a torrential downpour, our MC runs nonstop. Carrying insane weights, he maintains a pace that no one can keep up with. Aware that the body's physical limit dictates the class's power, he focuses on the basics. Even drenched and exhausted, he knows this is still far from enough. Memories of the future show the demon Wrath massacring humanity in an instant. Painfully, he recalls how his only remaining family was taken out by this monster. It was Wrath's opening of the underworld gates that sealed the world's fate. Therefore, the main objective of this new life is crystal clear. The mission is simple and direct: take out Wrath before he destroys everything. There are 3 years until the Demon King's descent, and time is running out. Suddenly his phone rings, vibrating in his wet pants pocket. On the screen the name, Little Sis, glows, making his heart ache. Answering quickly, he hears her voice complaining about the missed calls. Laughing, she tells him she was at a competition and her phone had died. Promising to pay off debts with the prize money, the girl chatters nonstop. On the other end of the line, her brother's silence worries the girl. With tears in his eyes, our MC smiles just from hearing her voice again. Hiding his emotion, he says goodbye, promising good news soon. Now he truly feels that this new beginning is real, and his motivation explodes. Running 3 more laps in the rain, his determination to get stronger turns to steel. Protecting this precious future is the only thing that matters to him. In the shower, he realizes he's already getting used to his younger body. Drying his hair, his mind returns to the central problem of leveling up. To truly level up, entering a demon lair is mandatory, but the guild's monopoly prevents common people from getting access. Lying in bed, the question of how to contact demonic beasts consumes him. Just then, the gluttony system beeps, announcing it's finally online. Immediately, his consciousness is pulled into a strange dimension. A gigantic, sinister tower rises in a blood-red landscape. Confused, our MC looks around, not understanding where he's ended up. In the real world, Malong thinks his friend went out for another run. Staring at the colossal structure, the question about the tower's nature persists. Suddenly, skeletal beasts emerge growling, ready to attack. Realizing he's inside a lair, he activates the class change on the spot. Even without understanding how he got there, the priority is to survive the fight. Rank hellhounds advance in a pack, trying to tear the intruder to shreds. Confident in his current strength, our boy charges forward without any fear. In a deadly dance of lightning and blades, he thrashes the monsters with ease. After defeating the pack, the system floods the screen with experience notifications. His level rises quickly, confirming that this is the perfect place to level up. Checking his stats, he sees his strength and speed attributes increase. With a predator's smile, he realizes he can solo this entire lair. More monsters appear, but now they are just free XP sources. Determined to use the place as a testing ground, he advances, massacring everything. With each beast taken down, the experience bar fills at a crazy pace. Defeating the area boss yields much more than common monsters of the same rank. Suddenly, a bizarre, devourable message appears over the boss's corpse. Intrigued by the new term, he approaches to investigate its meaning. Reaching out his hand, a strange light begins to emanate from the creature's body. At that moment, he understands the true purpose of the gluttony power. A vortex of dark energy sucks the monster's essence into him. When the light dissipates, a card floats gently in the palm of his hand. In disbelief, he sees that the Hellhound King has been transformed into a skill card. Excited, Si-Chen realizes he can turn defeated beasts into new classes. This means he now has the same legendary power as the Demon King of Gluttony. 7 years ago, it was this monster that caused the apocalypse by devouring everything. Memories of the final battle against Gluttony flash through his mind. With a triumphant smile, he understands that he's stolen this ultimate ability for himself. Normally, each person is born with only one class defined by fate, but now he breaks that rule, possessing 2 classes at the same time. If he continues to devour other demonic beasts, the potential is infinite. Theoretically, he can accumulate a countless number of different powers. However, the question of why he received this divine gift still haunts him. Looking back, the colossal demon tower emits an absurd pressure. The air suddenly becomes heavy, making him break out in a cold sweat from the evil energy. A deep, powerful voice echoes from the shadows, greeting his arrival. Appearing out of nowhere, a giant skeletal warrior introduces himself as the Lord of the Tower. Classified by the government as a monster of immeasurable power, he faces the human. In his past life, our MC nearly perished trying to reach S rank. And now, right in front of him, is an S rank boss in the flesh. The level difference is so brutal that just being near him is painful. Curious, he wonders how the monster knows his name. With no time for small talk, the fight begins with a mind-blowing exchange of blows. Dodging the purple blades by a hair's breadth, he realizes the enemy is just toying with him. With each attack, the Lord deliberately avoids vital points, merely knocking the boy down. Mocking his useless resistance, the monster asks if he still wants to fight. Wiping the blood from his mouth, Si-Chen declares that he will never surrender. The tower boss offers a unique chance of submission, but our hero refuses. Determined not to live in that nightmare again, he vows to fight until the end. Activating his electric sword, he charges forward in a last desperate attempt. Blood splatters as the suicidal blow hits the monster's impenetrable defense. Laughing at his audacity, the Lord confesses he hasn't finished him off yet for one reason. According to the creature, our MC is the only one capable of reaching that sacred place. Ignoring the nonsense, Si-Chen chooses to continue attacking with everything he has. With his eyes glowing with determination, he swears to take the scumbag down. Transforming his own body into a bolt of lightning, he advances at supersonic speed. The Lord just sighs, finding the attempt ridiculous, and raises his sword. However, mid-swing, our boy abruptly changes his trajectory. Thanks to the previous exchange of blows, he has already deciphered the boss's attack pattern. Every time the monster swings its sword, there is a 0.4-second delay. This small interval is the opening he needed to predict the angle. By calculating the blade's path, he manages to narrowly dodge his own demise. More importantly, there is a 0.2-second pause in the recovery of the blow. If he aims for that exact moment, the enemy is completely defenseless. Concentrating all his energy at the tip of his blade, he unleashes the fatal blow. Even if a D rank can't take out an S rank, the electric paralysis should work. Activating Lightning God, his speed increases tenfold in an instant. These few seconds bought are enough to attempt an escape or a miracle. Looking around, he notices that the only source of light was from the monster's attack. Suddenly, the light vanishes, leaving everything in complete darkness. In the shadows, purple blades slice through the air, narrowly missing their target. Impressed, the Lord praises the human's cunning in extinguishing the light to hide. Finally, the boss reveals his true form, the Rakshasa of Purgatory. Upon seeing the enemy's real face, our MC freezes in terror. That terrifying gaze is something he has seen before on the Demon King of Gluttony. In the final battle of his past life, Gluttony used multiple forms to fight. Beasts of ice and fire appeared out of nowhere, alternating the monster's powers. He switched between powerful classes constantly, crushing the human resistance. And one of those forms was exactly this skeletal warrior of purple flames. The revelation hits like a bombshell. The Lord of the Tower was already devoured by Gluttony. This means this place is actually inside the Demon King's body. All the beasts sealed here are Gluttony's past conquests. And now that our hero has the power of Gluttony, he has inherited all of this. The Rakshasa confirms the theory with a macabre smile on his skeletal face. Understanding the situation, Si-Chen realizes he is the new owner of this dimension. The colossal tower on the horizon holds the most ancient secrets and powers. Praising the boy's intelligence, the Lord says he is worthy of inheriting the throne. In disbelief, our MC asks if he can really have all of this. Extending his hand, the monster gives him the SS rank, key to the Time Rift. This is the only key capable of opening the gate of the Demon Tower. The mission now is to devour the beasts sealed inside to become invincible. Holding the golden key, Si-Chen questions why the monster is helping him. After all, even among humans, there is good and evil, and demons are no different. The Rakshasa reveals that he waited for centuries for a chance at revenge against the Demon Kings. And according to an ancient prophecy, our MC is the only hope for success. Pointing to the tower, he says that all the answers are inside. The Lord's body begins to dissolve into blue flames, handing over his power. Shouting for the boy to take everything and get his revenge, the monster disappears, leaving behind its legacy. Immediately after the handover, The monster warns that Sai Chen needs to become much stronger. According to him, the demons inside are treacherous and extremely cruel. The path to the top of the tower requires him to endure a hell of suffering. With bloodshot eyes, our hero is told he must conquer everything and reach the pinnacle of the world. The final order is to devour every single demon king he finds along the way. Only someone with his determination is worthy of carrying this heavy burden. The Rakshasa's body finally vanishes, leaving only the echo of his words in the air. Suddenly, the system announces that the MC's level has jumped to 10 in one go. Feeling the new power flow, he promises to carry on the monster's legacy of revenge. Just then, the Devar Complete message glows, revealing the Rakshasa of Purgatory card. Rays of sunlight flood the dorm room, waking our hero up abruptly. Startled, he bolts up in bed, drenched in a cold sweat, unsure if it was all a dream. Mai Long is already up, shouting at him to hurry up and not be late. Checking his own body, Si Chen notices that all his wounds have completely vanished. However, upon opening the system, the Rakshasa card is there, proving it was all real. In just one night, he reached level 10 and wonders what rank that would be. The punk Xiangzhu gets his attention with a mocking smile. Full of sarcasm, the loafer comments on the rumors that the newbie got super strong. Challenging his authority, the villain asks if he already feels like the number one in the room. With a cold gaze, our MC faces the provocateur without showing any fear. Biting into a piece of bread, Xiangzhu continues his spiel about ranks. According to him, everyone in the dorm is E rank, but there are internal divisions. He explains that each rank is separated into 3 tiers: lower, middle, and upper. The power difference between each tier is gigantic, which makes climbing the ladder very difficult. Laughing at his own joke, he tells Sai Chen to get a D rank to scare everyone. Our hero just smirks, finding the suggestion quite interesting. At the national evaluation ceremony, the crowd of students gathers anxiously. Suddenly, rough shoves clear a path through the crowd. It's Gong Cheng's gang arriving with their usual swagger to cause trouble. Startled, Xiangzhu notices that the bullies are looking straight at them. With a straight posture, Si Chen doesn't even flinch as the aggressors approach. Ma Long freezes in terror, anticipating another unprovoked beating. But to everyone's surprise, the goons shout, "Big bro Si Chen," in unison. Shocked, Xiangzhu doesn't understand why they're being so respectful to the trash. A guy in a floral suit appears, laughing, and introduces himself as Chiang Dai from the council. He asks if the MC knows that Gong Cheng is the brother of the powerful president. The crowd around them whispers in fear, recognizing the student council officer. Xiangzhu gets even more confused, not understanding the connection between them. Sniffing the air near our hero, Chiangdi claims to have a keen sense of smell. Getting right in his face, he whispers that he only smells failure coming from Si Chen. Disgusted, the MC asks if the guy is some kind of dog to be sniffing people like that. Furious at the insult, the officer loses his composure and yells curses at the kid. Suddenly, a calm and authoritative voice tells Chiang Dai to stop immediately. President Gong Ting appears, saying he investigated, and it was his brother's fault. Coldly, he states that it's fair to pay the price for one's mistakes and tells them to drop the matter. Soon, the system announces the start of the tests. Calling the students to the stage, the president calmly walks away, leaving the furious officer behind. On the big screen, the ceremony officially begins, drawing everyone's attention. Watching from above, the vice president comments that the day promises to be interesting. Sipping tea, she asks the president if he's found anyone worthwhile. An hour later, it's Xiangzhu's turn to go up on stage to be evaluated. Full of confidence, he promises to show his true strength to the audience. Entering the test chamber, the door closes, isolating the candidate. The evaluations are done individually inside an artificial demon lair. Inside, a demonic core absorbs the energy released by the awakened. The student needs to unleash all their power at once in front of this core. The energy is immediately transmitted through cables to the external equipment. On the screen, the result glows, revealing a middle tier E rank for the mage. Disappointed, Xiangzhu grumbles that he expected to have reached D rank. In the audience, Malong comments that now it's time for the main event. In addition to the current rank, the test also measures the future potential of each class. Having high potential guarantees special attention and resources from the government. Xiangzhu's final result shows a maximum potential of C rank. Leaving with his head down, he hears the announcement calling the next candidate. Trying to console his friend, Malong says that his own result was even worse. Suddenly, the audience erupts and cheers as a D rank appears on the screen. It's the first D rank of the year, and with B potential, leaving everyone ecstatic. Sometime later, another student achieves the same feat with A potential. Si Chen's group watches silently as the impressive numbers appear. The teachers comment that this year's batch is exceptionally strong. Finally, President Gong Ting's name is called for the test. Walking elegantly, he steps onto the stage under admiring gazes. Known as the Chosen One, he carries heavy titles and the support of the Imperial Guild. Si Chen watches intently, curious to see his rival's true level. 2 years ago, he was already D rank, and the expectation now is that he'll break all the records. Connected to the machine's cables, President Gong Ting prepares for the final test. Arrogantly, he decides to hold back some of his power but guarantees he'll still be number one in history. Releasing the energy, an intense glow illuminates his face inside the chamber. Digital wearing fills the screen as the data is processed by the system. The professor is aghast, not believing the color he's seeing on the monitor. On the big screen, the final verdict is upper D rank with S-level potential. The entire audience is in disbelief, shocked by the revelation of an S-rank potential. Students are screaming and cursing with excitement, unable to process the magnitude of it. Ecstatic, everyone celebrates the first student in the school's history to reach this level. Green with envy, Malong comments that they are witnessing history in the making. The evaluators immediately decide to report the result to higher authorities. Being a national treasure, an S-level awakening guarantees special government protection. Aware of his own value, Gong Ting smiles, knowing he'll be on the front page of the news tomorrow. Under the spotlight, he enjoys his moment of glory, confirming that his talent is the real deal. Watching everything from a distance, the president of the National University smiles mysteriously. Talking with the vice president, the headmaster reveals he didn't come here for Gong Ting. Curious, the woman questions who could be more interesting than an S-rank potential. At that exact moment, Si Chen's name echoes through the speakers, calling him for the test. Walking calmly, our MC heads to the stage under disdainful glares. Laughing in his face, Chiangdi tells the kid to bring glory to the loser's dorm. Mockingly, Xiang Zhu bets the newbie will get lower E rank to match his poverty. Scoffing at the weak, he guarantees the group will face the biggest embarrassment of the exam. Full of faith, Ma Long shouts for his friend to shut everyone up. In front of the machine, Si Chen ignores the taunts and enters the capsule. Apprehensive, his roommates wonder if he'll manage to surprise them. Once inside, the system connects his consciousness to the demonic core. In this era, the best way to secure a future is by joining an elite guild. For most people, the graduation combat exam is the only chance to shine. Allowing teams of up to 10 people, candidates can freely choose their partners. By winning the tournament, the entire team gets direct recruitment into the Imperial Guild. Explaining the strategy, Chiang Dai says the evaluation serves to filter the teams. With his D rank plus the Gong brothers, the main team is practically set. Laughing with his friends, he celebrates that victory in the combat exam is a sure thing. Cruelly, he reminds them that the weak will be excluded and eliminated by the law of survival. Worried, Ma Long notices that time is passing and Sichen isn't coming out. On the screen, the progress bar remains at 0, showing no movement. Bored, the audience begins to disperse, thinking the test is already over. Calling the rest of them trash, Chiang Dai invites the guys to go to karaoke. Gathering his team, he turns his back on the stage, ignoring the final result. Suddenly, the numbers on the monitor change drastically, drawing attention back. In a collective gasp, the crowd can't believe their eyes when they see upper D rank displayed on the screen. In total shock, Chiang Di and Gong Ting turn their heads in disbelief. Inside the chamber, the system detects instability in the demonic core and beeps an error. Analyzing the data, Si Chen realizes that his base physical strength alone is equivalent to upper D rank. Curious to test his limits, he decides to initiate the class change right then and there. Activating the Doomfang King class, he unleashes a chilling aura. The screen immediately updates the data, climbing to middle C rank. Students start screaming in panic, seeing the classification rise again. Breaking into a cold sweat, Chiang Di shouts that it's a lie and something must be wrong. Confused, the scientists question if the internal system has completely fried. The error alert goes off again, warning that the core is immune to cold. Deciding to go all out, our MC deduces that his other classes are even stronger. Without hesitation, he summons the power of the Rakshasa of Purgatory. Unleashing his maximum energy, he wants to see how much the system can take. An explosion of violet power fills the environment inside the simulation. Outside, the sky suddenly darkens, startling everyone. Black clouds and purple lightning form over the school in a bizarre phenomenon. Paralyzed, the students look up, witnessing the atmospheric chaos. Hugging his buddy, Malong emotionally shouts that his friend caused a celestial phenomenon. Impressed, the teachers admit that the school has produced a figure capable of shaking the world. Trying to calculate the potential, the system begins to lag and glitch violently. Screaming in panic, the evaluator sees the letter S multiply on the screen. Danger warnings flash in red, indicating an imminent critical failure. The monitor quickly fills with overlapping S's in a digital chaos. Finally, the fatal error message announces that the value exceeds the system's maximum capacity. With a face twisted in horror, Chiang Di watches the impossible happen. In a deafening boom, the testing machine explodes, spewing smoke and sparks. Running in desperation, the teachers order a check to see if the student survived the overloaded core. In the midst of the wreckage, Si Chen stands unharmed. However, the demonic core that was supposed to be eternal appears shriveled and lifeless. Not understanding a thing, the technicians wonder if overuse during the day caused the failure. Hiding a smile, our MC knows he used too much force and ended up frying the core. But as an unexpected bonus, the system announces that the Devar was successfully completed. Alone in the destroyed chamber, he absorbs the essence of the A-rank exquisite demonic core. With his eyes glowing neon blue, the new power is silently activated. The system now reveals the ranks of all the students around him. President Gongting also hid his true strength, staying at an average C rank. Unfortunately, the demonic core couldn't handle the strain and burned out instantly. The evaluation is immediately suspended, and the school promises to report everything to the authorities. Excited, the MC's friends celebrate the result, calling Sai-chen a genius. Chiang Di tries to downplay the incident, shouting that it was just an error from faulty equipment. Furious, he accuses the newbie of irresponsibility for breaking such an expensive machine. But our hero couldn't care less, and just discreetly activates his electric power. With a murderous look, he considers whether he should cripple the coward right there to shut him up for good. At the last second, President Gongting intervenes, telling the officer to back off. With a cordial smile, he surprises everyone by calling Sai-chen a teammate. Extending his hand, the leader invites our MC to join his team for the combat exam. The invitation drops like a bomb, and the crowd can't believe the president wants a C rank on his team. Desperate, Chiang Di realizes that if the newbie joins, someone will have to leave the group, and obviously the weakest link is him, which sends him into a total panic. Sai-chen becomes thoughtful, trying to understand what makes the president so special, but Gongting himself spoke out loud, guaranteeing the spot. Chiang Di bites his lip, holding back the urge to explode with rage. In a sharp move, our MC smacks the outstretched hand away and flatly refuses the offer. The council officer's eyes widen, unable to believe the kid's audacity. Trembling with anger, he shouts, asking if Si-chen knows who he's talking to. Cold and direct, the MC tells Chiang Di to shut up and stop bothering him. Turning his back, he walks away, leaving everyone dumbfounded by the rejection. Whispers spread, questioning the sanity of someone who rejects the president. But our hero knows that after that test, he has the leverage to choose his own path. The students comment on how Si-chen's attitude was brave and humiliating for the council. Gongting maintains his composure, saying it's fine and that the boy has his own plans. The university's headmaster laments that the golden duo didn't form there. The vice president comments with a wicked smile that this makes things more interesting. For someone born with a silver spoon like Gongting, this rejection is a declaration of war. The president's gaze changes completely, revealing a dark and vengeful side. Chiang Di seizes the opportunity to poison the boss's mind even further. He insists that the test was a fluke and that Sai-chen is just lucky. Begging for a chance, the officer offers to teach the newbie a lesson. Gongting asks if his lackey thinks he's that petty. Feigning disinterest, the president says he's not in the mood to sing today. But with his eyes glowing yellow, he makes it clear that he doesn't care what happens. Chiang Di gets the subliminal message instantly and cracks a psychopathic smile. 10 minutes later, a student runs up, reporting that he saw Sai-chen leaving the school. The officer confirms the information with a smile like he's about to hunt his prey. Thinking the universe is on his side, Chiang Di prepares for the ambush. With a maniacal look, he celebrates the chance to catch the kid off campus. Meanwhile, Si-chen walks calmly, whistling through the city streets. In his previous life, he remembers a tragic event that happened in a sacred lair. An elite team was massacred by a demon of an unprecedented level. This monster was Wrath himself, descending to the human world for the first time. It was from this massacre that the Demon King began his global destruction. To find the exact location of the lair where Wrath is hiding, he needs a plan. And to start this plan, he needs an obscene amount of money. His destination is the Mithril Monster Exchange, which in the future will be the largest in the country. In this place, hunters buy and sell equipment made from monster parts. It's the fastest way to raise cash by selling the drops he's obtained. Tossing a handful of teeth on the counter, the clerk with glasses is confused. The seller says he's never seen that type of item before. A pink-haired employee immediately identifies them as E-rank Doomfangs. According to her, these teeth can be turned into cloud weapons or magic dust. The clerk scoffs, saying the shop is VIP and only accepts D-rank items and above. Complaining about the lack of high-level clients, the guy with glasses treats Sai-chen like dirt. The MC realizes his luck with annoying people hasn't changed a bit. Dumping the problem on the newbie, the manager tells the girl to handle the paperwork. The girl pays 18,000 for the fangs, which already covers his sister's rent. But Sai-chen still has an ace up his sleeve and asks if he can sell something else. Pulling from his inventory, he draws the sword of the Rakshasa of Purgatory. The sinister purple blade leaves the attendant's jaw on the floor. She stammers that she's never seen anything like it and guesses it must be at least A rank. The manager laughs out loud, doubting a poor student would have an A rank weapon. Suddenly, an elegant man in a blue suit enters the shop, agreeing with the girl. The clerk's attitude changes instantly, sucking up to the boss who just arrived. Adjusting his glasses, the man declares that the weapon is unequivocally S rank. The manager's shock cry echoes throughout the entire shop upon hearing SS rank. The mysterious man immediately shakes Si-chen's hand with utmost respect. Inviting the MC the VP room, he offers to fulfill any request. Si-chen smiles, satisfied, seeing that the big fish has finally taken the bait. The man introduces himself as Qing Jai, head of the Mithril Guild team. Sitting in the luxury of the private room, He asks how the boy wants to negotiate the relic. Without batting an eye, Si Chen asks for just 1 million coins for the sword. Surprised, Chunja's eyes widen, finding the amount ridiculously low. He tries to warn the boy, saying an S-rank weapon is worth tens of millions on the market. But our MC explains that he just wants to use the item as collateral for a quick loan. Impressed, the guild leader never imagined seeing such cunning in a university student. Analyzing the boy's profile, he wonders if he's a runaway heir or a hidden prodigy. Si Chen promises to repay the loan in 1 month with 10% interest. Chunji tells the manager to leave the room so he can talk with the client alone. Observing the uniform, the man deduces that the boy is about to graduate from the National University. He praises the MC's maturity for not selling such a rare relic for easy money. The requested amount and the payment deadline perfectly match an urgent need for cash. The guild leader decides to venture a guess about the reason for the loan. He bets that Si Chen is confident he will win the graduation combat exam. Instead of waiting for the prize, the boy is pawning something precious now. This means he needs this money for something critical and immediate. Smiling, Chunjai offers 1.5 million in cash on the spot, and as a bonus, he waives the interest for the first month, calling it a friendly gesture. He only asks that in future dealings, the Mithril Guild has absolute priority. Si Chen realizes the man is smart and figured everything out with little information. Shaking the leader's hand, he seals the deal, knowing he'll need strong allies to destroy Wrath. In the future, the Mithril Guild will be the largest trading house in the world, and this partnership is valuable. The mana contract is magically signed, ensuring the security of the deal. The money instantly appears in his account, leaving our MC relieved. Before leaving, Chunji offers to lend him equipment, since the sword was pawned. He admits he doesn't have any S-rank items in stock but has several A and B rank ones. Si Chen politely declines, saying he doesn't need anything. With a snap of his fingers, he summons another identical sword, leaving the man speechless. The manager and the attendant nearly faint upon seeing a second S-rank weapon appear out of nowhere. Recovering from the shock, Chunji congratulates the employee on her promotion, thanks to the VIP client. On his way out, the MC makes one last request before leaving. He says he'd like to buy something specific from the shop. Soon after, he appears at the bus station, anxiously waiting for someone to arrive. In his past life, lack of money was always the family's biggest problem. He remembers how he had to work odd jobs to keep a roof over their heads. His bank account was always in the red, and he ate poorly to save every penny. His little sister Xiao Yun had been accepted into the Central Academy of Arts. But she tore up the acceptance letter, afraid of being a financial burden to the family. She gave up her dream of being an artist, just to stay by her failure of a brother's side. Looking at the clock, Si Chen worries about her bus being late. Suddenly, a familiar voice shouts "Bro" from the crowd. Complaining that she's called him several times, the girl appears, running. With her pigtails bouncing, she jokes that her brother got lost again. The MC's heart races upon seeing her face after 7 long years. She asks for help with her suitcase, but he remains frozen, staring at his sister. Finding his reaction strange, the girl asks why he's making such a dumb face. In an uncontrollable impulse, he hugs his sister with all the strength in the world. Whispering that he missed her so much, time seems to stop right there. Finally, the nightmare is over, and he can see Xiao Yun alive and safe. Suffocating in the bare hug, the girl yells for him to let go. Complaining about his weird behavior, she asks if he got rejected by some girl. Smiling, he swears to himself that in this life, he will never let her suffer again. Xiao Yun smiles back, happy to see her big brother. Walking home, they take a shortcut through a quieter alley. But in the shadows, Chiangdi's gang is already waiting for a surprise attack. With a cigarette in his mouth, the officer promises to teach the newbie an unforgettable lesson. A goon questions if they aren't going overboard with the number of people. Chiangdi says he just wanted to scare him, but Si Chen's attitude deeply irritated him. The phrase, "Don't bother me again," echoes in the villain's mind, fueling his hatred. The plan is to beat the kid until he's half gone and misses the graduation exam. Being a D-rank cloud assassin, he draws his dagger, confident in his victory. Oblivious to the danger, Xiao Yun continues to chatter while eating a skewer. She suspects her brother is in love because of his strange behavior. Trying to cheer the MC up, she quotes a motivational phrase he used to say. Humming a song about believing in yourself, she tries to lift his spirits. Si Chen smiles, noticing how sensitive his sister is and how she picked up on the change in him. She still thinks they live in poverty and that he hasn't awakened. He thinks about how hard it is to keep secrets when you know someone so well. Suddenly, threatening shadows appear, blocking the alley's exit. One of the goons alerts Chiang Dai to the girl's presence. With a disgusting smile, the officer says that's even better since there are no cameras there. Feeling the murderous aura, Si Chen instantly realizes it's the guys from the council. He didn't expect them to stoop so low as to attack outside of school. He quickly pulls a pair of headphones from his pocket. Gently, he places the headphones on his little sister's ears. Saying he wants to share a new song, he tries to distract her from the imminent danger. The gentle melody in the headphones reflects the listener's state of mind. Then our MC asks to listen too, wanting to understand his little sister better. With a dark look, he notices the gang slowly approaching. Chiangdi appears, leading his goons with a smile that screams he's about to cause chaos. Meanwhile, Xiaoyun closes her eyes, diving into the music and forgetting the world outside. The scenery around her disappears, replaced by gray, melancholic ruins. In his past life, our hero lost his last family member in the year 2160. Until his rebirth in 2167, he carried this pain alone, and now their reunion is a miracle. And a bunch of trash dares to try and ruin this precious moment. Without mercy, Si Chen explodes in rage and launches a devastating attack. Oblivious to the violence, the girl continues to listen to the lyrics about ruins and loneliness. With his electric fists, our MC crushes the first attacker without giving him a chance. One of the goons screams in pain as he's thrown against the alley wall. In a deadly dance, he takes down multiple enemies, protecting his sister, who doesn't notice a thing. The song talks about stars cutting through the sky as bodies fly through the air. A heavy punch lands squarely in a brute's stomach, making him double over in pain. Reaching out with all his strength, our hero grabs another opponent. With a brutal move, he slams the enemy into the ground, kicking up dust. The thug's cry of agony is muffled by the music in the girl's ears. The punk's arm snaps loudly as it takes a direct and merciless blow. Chiangdi watches everything in shock, realizing he underestimated his target. He wonders how a D rank can be so strong and fast. Without wasting time, the officer draws his dagger and launches a cowardly attack. Cursing mentally, he reminds himself he's one of the best assassins in the school. Furious, he yells that the kid won't be able to fight back forever. But Si Chen easily dodges and lands an uppercut that makes the villain spit blood. With an icy glare, the MC repeats his warning not to be bothered again. He questions if the scum doesn't understand plain English, or if he needs to spell it out for them. Beaten on the ground, one of the goons cries, saying he broke his ribs. Telling the trash to shut up, the hero threatens to end anyone who makes more noise. The injured thug sees in Si Chen's eyes that the threat is real. Trembling in terror, he doesn't understand where so much killing intent comes from in a simple student. The MC warns that every word he said should be remembered very well. He doesn't care if they rot in some corner, but he demands they keep their distance. Grabbing the defeated guy's face, he makes it clear that his sister's safety is sacred. If they dare to show up in front of her again, he will make them all disappear forever. The punk frantically nods his head, agreeing to everything to avoid being erased. Letting go of the trash, our hero walks away, leaving a trail of groaning bodies. The song in the headphones ends, talking about the sky clearing and birds returning. Emotional Xiaoyun takes off the headphones with teary eyes, feeling the loneliness of the melody. She comments on how the music made her want to cry, reminding her of the distance between them. Her brother jokes that she's overreacting since he's always been around. Walking home together, peace returns as if nothing had happened. Arriving in their room, Si Chen hands a gift box to the girl. Opening the package, she discovers a very expensive digital pen that costs over 10,000. In his past life, he couldn't protect her dreams due to a lack of money. This time, he swears he will defend everything that is important to her. Meanwhile, Qiangdi is taken away in an ambulance, all broken and humiliated. Xiaoyun tests the gift, drawing holographic fish in the air, enchanted. Overjoyed, she compliments the noodles with fried egg that her brother prepared. Worried about the expenses, she reminds him they still need to pay rent. Calmly, Si Chen informs her that he's already paid for the whole year in advance. Making up an excuse, he says he made a business partnership and earned some money. His sister is suspicious of the lie and says he's terrible at deceiving others. Even so, she smiles, relieved to see that things are getting better. Si Chen watches her smile and realizes it's been a long time since he's seen that happiness. He asks her not to overwork herself and to focus only on her studies. With a determined look, he accepts the role of the family's protector. At the hospital, the news about Chiang Dai is grim, with over 60% of his bones broken. Even with the best healers, recovery will take more than a month. President Gong Ting receives the medical report with a cold expression. He comments that the officer will definitely miss the graduation exam. But to him, it doesn't matter, as the team just lost some dead weight. His uncle Gong Xuan, the director of career services, confirms the internal data. He verified that Si Chen is indeed a C rank in disguise, the only student in the entire school with a higher rank than the president. Concerned about his nephew's image, the uncle reminds him that important guests will be at the exam. They can't let anyone steal the spotlight from the chosen one. The vice president suggests calling her niece to fill the spot on the team. Gong Ting smiles arrogantly, saying his uncle is worrying for nothing. He asks if the director really thinks he used his full strength in the evaluation. Promising a show, he guarantees that everyone will realize who the strongest really is. When the combat exam arrives, the hierarchy will be re-established. At 11 at night in the men's dorm, Si Chen finishes his daily training. With the money problem solved and his sister safe, he focuses on his official plan after graduation. Focusing on the grand prize, our MC sets the goal to win the 1 million from the championship. After all, he needs to honor the contract signed with the guild leader and pay off the debt. Lying in bed, A quick calculation shows there's less than a month until the exam. Without wasting time, the gluttony system is activated, opening the portal to the tower. Recalling the previous tests, the Doomfang King class only reached C rank. The Rakshasa of Purgatory has S potential, but the system can't handle measuring its true strength. Therefore, the exact levels of the other two classes are still a complete mystery. Holding the SSS rank key to the time rift, the risky decision is made. Determined to test everything tonight, he prepares for a solo invasion. Standing before the purple vortex, the question of what's inside consumes his mind. Passing through the portal, he arrives in a hostile and completely unknown environment. Identified as the Starfall Desert, the landscape is vast and desolate. Suddenly, his body feels like it weighs a ton, making his knees buckle in pain. A quick analysis shows the gravity here is 10 times that of Earth. Looking back, the door has vanished, requiring the boss's defeat to reopen the exit. Trying to adapt to the crushing pressure, he notices a giant shadow moving. Emerging from the rocks, the B-rank Phantom Lion prepares to pounce. He immediately switches to the Volt Assassin class to gain speed. With electricity flowing, Sichen faces the monster head-on. In a quick reflex, he dodges the beast's heavy paw by millimeters. However, when trying to counterattack, his body responds too slowly due to the excessive weight. Missing the vital point, the paralysis blow fails miserably. Clearly, the high gravity has destroyed the assassin class's agility advantage. Seizing the opening, the lion charges with full force, nearly finishing the intruder. Even with the electric shock, the monster barely feels the damage and remains ferocious. In disbelief at the difficulty of the first floor, the strategy needs to change now. He quickly activates the Rakshasa of Purgatory form to tank the damage. In this form, his physical strength attributes are far superior and ideal for this environment. For close quarters combat, raw endurance is what matters now. Using his gravity ability, he decides to fight pressure with even more pressure. Increasing the impact of his fall by 600%, his fist becomes a meteor. Combined with the environment's natural gravity, the force of his punch multiplies 60 times. Roaring with hatred, the lion tries to devour its target mid-air in a suicidal attack. Yelling that he won't be stopped, Sichen descends with total violence. Activating the Gravity Calamity Super Heavy mode, the collision is imminent. In a cloud of dust, the monster is crushed against the stone ground. His level immediately rises to 11, and the warrior catches his breath. Analyzing the system, he notices that each star on the card multiplies his stats. While the assassin has 9 stars, the Rakshasa has 11, making it much stronger. Comparing it to the global hierarchy, he realizes he still hasn't broken the B-rank barrier. Speaking of which, a strange detail on the beast's corpse catches his attention. Curiously, the E-Devourable marker didn't appear over the defeated monster. Furthermore, the gate to the next level remains closed with no sign of an exit. Feeling a chill down his spine, he looks into the infinite darkness. Suddenly, multiple pairs of eyes glow in the gloom surrounding the area. Realizing his fatal mistake, he understands that the true boss has yet to reveal itself. In a cold sweat, it dawns on him that the lion was just a foot soldier. Out of nowhere, the sky fills with identical beasts, raining down on him. Surrounded by an army of B-rank beasts, the fight turns into a massacre. Tearing through flesh and bone, he finally understands the true meaning of purgatory. Memories of the warning about eternal suffering echo in his tired mind. Enduring the absurd pain, he continues to fight against the tide of monsters. Covered in grime, the will to conquer everything keeps him standing in the battle. Suddenly, he wakes up in his dorm bed with a jolt. Panting and sweaty, he checks to see if he's whole in the real world. However, the muscle soreness is real, proving that the training in the dream affected his physical body. Accepting that there are no shortcuts, the brutal path has only just begun. Later, in the university's Great Hall, the team formation ceremony begins. On stage, Director Gong Xuan announces the new guidelines for the exam. Among the students, the rumor is that officials from the Alliance came to watch in person. Hearing the rumors confirmed, our boy just watches in silence. According to the new rules, each team needs 5 members and 1 upper E rank. Confused, the students speculate if the change is for more entertainment. The updated data is immediately sent to everyone's bracelets. Checking their displays, tension fills the crowded auditorium. On the projected list, the elite names appear at the top, as expected. But one student notices something completely wrong with the ranking table. Incredibly, Sichen's name is listed as lower E, rank at the bottom of the list. Shocked, his classmates question how he dropped so much in the ranking so suddenly. Remembering the previous test that gave him C rank, general confusion fills the room. The crowd quickly concludes that the core must have been broken that day. With his reputation destroyed, no one wants to team up with him now. Laughing at his misfortune, the punks comment that he must regret rejecting the president. From a distance, Gongting observes the situation with a cold, distant look. In the control room, his uncle, Director Gong Xuan, manipulates everything to teach his nephew how to use political power. Smiling perversely, the uncle promises to teach the insolent boy an unforgettable lesson. Adjusting his glasses, he ensures that the newbie won't even qualify to compete. In the auditorium, the order is given for students to finish forming their teams. A crowd immediately surrounds the president, begging for a spot on his team. Girls scream hysterically, offering anything to fight alongside the chosen one. The goons push the crowd back, announcing there's only room for one more person. Half an hour later, most of the teams have completed their registration. The hall divides into formed groups, leaving only a few stragglers. Maya Long cries, saying he asked everyone, but nobody wants to join them. Sadly, he counts the current members, confirming they only have the 3 from their dorm. Shang Zhou complains about the unfairness of the rule suddenly requiring 5 members. Figuring out the dirty trick, Si Chen deduces the rule was created just to target them. Since the final score decides their future in the guilds, no one wants to risk carrying dead weight. Additionally, the number of monsters in the lair increases with the team's size. Therefore, teaming up with the 3 worst students in the school is career suicide. Desperate, a classmate calls Xiang Zuo to join a group that needs one more member. The guy tries to convince the mage to abandon the losers, so he doesn't miss his chance. Analyzing the situation, the MC understands that the pressure is forcing them to split up. If they continue like this, they'll lose the right to compete, and it will all be over. Surprising everyone, Xiang Zuo apologizes to his classmate and refuses the invitation. He pounds his chest, stating that the dorm mates have already promised to stick together. Annoyed, the guy calls the mage ungrateful trash and storms off. On the screen, the list of teams fills up, leaving few names without a team. Biting his nails, Ma Long freaks out, seeing that almost everyone has already formed a group. In the shadows, Si Chen pieces it together and concludes that the director changed the rules on purpose. Reflecting on the corruption, he notes how power allows rules to be changed in the blink of an eye. However, he is determined not to skip the exam no matter what. Since his enemies are playing dirty, he decides he won't hold back either. Activating the system, he thinks about using brute force to prove who's boss. But suddenly, Ma Long points excitedly towards the auditorium entrance. In the awakened academies, there is a special tradition for settling disputes. At any time, a student can challenge another to a one-on-one duel. Si Chen planned to use this to humiliate the president in front of everyone. If he defeated Gong Ting, several strong players would want to team up with him. Suddenly, a female voice calls his name, interrupting his train of thought. Walking confidently, the girl asks if he still needs a teammate. She explains that she already reached D rank in middle school, so she wouldn't be dead weight. The crowd is shocked to recognize Vice President Ling Yu offering to join the trash team. From the audience, President Gong Ting can't believe what his own cousin is doing. Nervous, the director stands up from his chair, questioning his niece's actions. According to the rules, an exchange student from the Sacred Kingdom shouldn't participate. The furious uncle points his finger, forbidding the girl from entering the school's exam. He accuses Ling Yu of never having taken official rank test since she arrived. In the middle of the argument, an imposing voice agrees with the director, silencing everyone. In an explosion of purple power, the true president of the National University appears. Questioning the exchange student's presence, the old man demands answers. Si Chen is intrigued, trying to decipher the old director's power level. To make matters worse, his own evaluation system can't read the duo's stats. The old man sighs, saying it would be a shame if she participated without having her strength measured. He agrees with the director, sucking up to the university's rules and traditions. According to his pompous speech, the school's mission is to fairly train the world's elite. And since the combat exam is the most important moment in a student's life, there can be no flaws. The old man throws the responsibility back on the director, questioning the system's corruption. Breaking into a cold sweat, the director gets the heavy-handed hint about him manipulating the rules. It's clear that the university president is only there to protect Si Chen. Swallowing hard, the director backs down, knowing that confronting his boss is suicide. With a frustrated look, he accepts his temporary defeat and undoes the rule changes. Forcing a strained smile, he admits that the new restrictions would leave many students out. Officially, the director declares that incomplete teams and those without an upper E rank can participate. Just then, the 3 roommates' bracelets glow, confirming their team's formation. Ecstatic, Ma Long and Xiang Zhou hug their friend, celebrating the victory. From a distance, the old man praises the vice president's intuition about Si Chen's potential. He analyzes the scenario, which now has 2 opposing poles fighting for the top. On one side, the strongest team in history, led by President Gong Ting. On the other, the team of the 3 worst-ranked students in the entire school, led by our MC. Soon, a notification sound gets the chief evaluator's attention at the control desk. Surprised, he announces that Si Chen's team was the first to choose their target lair. His eyes widening, he can't believe the difficulty level the team chose. The MC's friends freak out, pulling his hair and asking if he's gone completely insane. With an icy gaze, our hero just stares at the screen, confirming the suicidal choice. The combat exam is the first time students enter a real lair as a team. The score is based on 3 criteria: clear rate, lord defeat, and completion time. Depending on the lair's level, the points are multiplied, guaranteeing the final victory. Just an E-level lair grants the times 2 multiplier needed to reach the maximum score of 100. and the team with 100 points gets guaranteed direct entry into the elite Imperial Guild. In addition to the collective prize, the MVP of the winning team gets a management position in the guild and another 1 million. Recalling the past, a student mentions that the highest score in history was 90 points. That record was set by the team of the current Imperial Guild leader years ago. Suddenly, the system beeps, confirming Gongting's team's choice. The evaluator adjusts his glasses, shocked to see it wasn't the president who chose first. It was actually Si Chen who had already selected his lair, leaving everyone stunned. And to make matters worse, the chosen difficulty was simply D rank. The audience goes wild, shouting that no student has ever cleared a D lair to this day. Mao Long shakes his friend, screaming that he's lost his mind and begging him to cancel the selection. Xiang Zuo panics, thinking he's gonna meet his end if he enters a place like that. On our MC's wrist, the bracelet asks for final confirmation with the option to withdraw. In a cold sweat, Ma Long begs him to think it over before confirming their demise. With an unshakable look, the hero replies that he's already thought it through. The sound of submission echoes, and the screen shows Gongting's team confirming a D lair as well. The president flashes an arrogant smile upon seeing that the trash dared to choose the same difficulty. The crowd goes crazy with two teams betting on a D rank lair in the same year. The evaluator sighs, predicting that this year's exam will be absolute chaos. Vice President Ling Yu smirks, commenting on how a bunch of nobodies want to act tough without gouging their own strength. She bets they just want attention before getting wiped out. But the problem is, their teammates have to accept the challenge too. Observing Si Chen's calm expression, Ma Long feels the aura of power radiating from him. Remembering that his friend has always protected him for these 4 years, he decides to trust him and hits the button. He shouts that if they're going to finish last, they might as well go out trying the impossible. Xiang Zuo grumbles, feeling the pressure of being the only one left to accept. Cursing the situation, the mage hesitates but eventually gives in to his friend's courage. Hitting confirm, he yells that they've already graduated anyway, so it's worth a shot. The screen flashes green, registering the official submission of the trash team. Turning to his team, Si Chen thanks them for their trust. He apologizes for the risk and admits he chose D rank only to secure the MVP title. The determination on his face surprises his teammates, who feel the weight of his promise. Si Chen rallies the team to get the highest score in the exam and prove their own worth. With his eyes shining, he swears that the MVP is already his, no matter the cost. In the hallway, Gongting walks furiously, repeating the newbie's name in anger. For the first time, the vice president notices the expression of pure hatred on her cousin's face. It's clear that the silent rivalry has finally exploded into a declared war. The old director sighs, saying that youth is wonderful for not fearing the unknown. But he points out that Si Chen's choice has crossed the line from confidence to pure arrogance. Even with the ×3 multiplier from D rank guaranteeing 150 points. The difficulty is insane. The required strength is several times greater than an E-level layer, making victory impossible. With only half a month left, the old man doubts a miracle will happen in time. In the simulation room, everyone focuses on training elemental powers in virtual combat. The general expectation is that the trash team will at least try not to get wiped out in there. With 17 days to go, Si Chen's insane physical training continues without a break. Exhausted, Ma Long crawls on the floor, complaining about the absurd exercises his friend came up with. He cries that the exam isn't a triathlon competition, so they shouldn't have to run so much. Losing patience, the MC warns that practicing magic theory is useless in the real world. When they face unknown monsters, fear will take over their minds and freeze their bodies. What decides who lives and who goes down in there isn't theory, but pure survival instinct. Strength, endurance, and explosive reaction time are crucial to avoid becoming monster food. Unfortunately, the school's simulations are too limited for the real challenge. Common people don't have access to the real training layers that only the elite possess. These privileges ensure that the rich kids continue to efficiently massacre monsters. From birth to graduation, they train hard to maintain the distance from the weaker ones. Gongting is living proof of someone who has spent his life preparing with infinite resources. They have advantages that common people will never achieve in a lifetime of work. Insecure, Ma Long asks what they can do in the face of this unfair difference. With a confident smile, our hero tells the team to invade the Imperial Guild with a maximum score. Breaking the barriers of social classes is the only chance to surpass them and take control. Memories of the annihilation caused by the Demon King show the futility of the current order. Si Chen promises to use all his newly acquired power to ensure the team's victory. With 15 days left, the solitary training in the Dream Tower continues brutally. Using the Volt Assassin class, he slashes through beasts at the speed of light. With 10 days remaining, the ferocity of his blows increases, cutting monsters to pieces. Facing the army of lions, his combat ability reaches new heights. With only 5 days left, the power of the Purgatory class shatters the ground, taking out several at once. The countdown reaches 3 days with exhaustive push-ups and physical training. With 2 days left, Gongting also appears, focused and determined in his own training lair. Sai Chen's constant leveling up doesn't stop, showing how far he's come in this half-month. With one day until the exam, the hero smiles, covered in grime, ready for the real test. Finally, June 17th, 2157 arrives and the graduation combat exam begins. Gathered in the hall, the students receive instructions from a floating drone before entering. With everyone equipped, the energy gates open, announcing the official start of the carnage. At the university entrance, an important man arrives to the director's eager reception. The old Gongshuan smiles in relief, greeting the distinguished visitor after a long wait. The elegant man introduces himself as Gong Lin, Gong Ting's father and co-founder of the Imperial Guild. Staring at the entourage, the students gossip about the vice president of the World Guild Alliance. Shocked, they notice that even the university president went to greet them personally. Stepping out of the elegant car, the suit-clad Carl Cavendish appears, exuding power and wealth. As the world vice president, he is practically an untouchable deity to the students. The chubby guy in the audience freaks out, screaming that the living legend came to watch their graduation. For the normal folks, seeing someone of this level is a once-in-a-lifetime event. The Alliance is the most powerful organization on the planet and controls everything behind the scenes. Explaining the format, the director announces that 124 students formed 25 teams. On the giant screen, the map shows that 20 teams chose the easiest F-level layers. With an analytical gaze, the Secretary General Sigrid comments on the 3 teams in E level and the 2 in D. She reminds them that D layers are extremely dangerous even for experienced professional teams. The director defends the school, saying they were warned, and that the students can barely handle F level. On the smaller screens, a team struggles to defeat a giant F-rank salamander. Despite being just F rank, the lair's boss is much stronger than the normal monsters. Meanwhile, in the E-rank lair, the team led by a girl with glasses is in a total panic. Inside, E-rank killer beetle spiders prove that the difficulty is brutal. Cowering in a corner, a student trembles in fear, crying that the mission is impossible. The secretary questions what safety measures have been adopted to protect the young talents. Proudly, the director explains that teleportation bracelets ensure immediate escape in case of real danger. Behind the scenes of each lair, Imperial troops wait, armed, to intervene if things go south. And just like that, a student clicks his bracelet, screaming that he's quitting the exam in front of the giant spider. The system recognizes the withdrawal and pulls the kid out of the area in a flash of red light. Back in the safe room, the boy cries with relief for having escaped that nightmare. Even with the chaos unfolding, Sigrid is curious about the 2 teams that chose the maximum difficulty. With a smirk, the director agrees, wanting to see how long they last. On the D lair monitor, the icy scenery of the Cloud Forest summit dominates the screen. Cutting winds and snow punish the team as they try to find their targets. From the shadows emerges the ghost bat monkey, classified as a D-rank cloud assassin. Analyzing the enemy, our hero warns about the beast's extreme speed and aerial attacks. Without warning, the beast descends in a fatal dive, targeting the entire team at once. In an instinctive reflex, Shangyu dives into the snow, narrowly dodging the attack. In a cold sweat, he can hardly believe he managed to dodge a deadly blow from a D rank. But before he could celebrate, an electric flash cuts through the freezing air. In disbelief, Xiang Zhu witnesses Sai Chen tear the beast in half. With his sword dripping, the hero stands tall, proving that the hard training paid off. Warning the team, he says that with their current strength, it's still too dangerous to fight the monkeys. Confidently, he asks the guys to just focus on their own survival while he clears the area. Suddenly, another monkey attacks from behind, forcing the team to act. Moe Long and Shang Yu activate their combined abilities, defending against the blow together. Spitting blood, the long-haired mage curses the beast, remembering he was always the bully of the dorm. And now, on the verge of graduation, he has to depend on a guy he considered trash. With gritted teeth, he sees 2 bats advance in a coordinated attack. But Si Chen is faster, intercepting the first one with a swift lightning bolt. Watching the combat, his teammates finally accept their friend's absurd level. The strength displayed is not that of a mere graduating student. It's the raw power of an experienced warrior. In a deadly dance, he slices through several monsters at once, leaving the team shocked. Mo Long sighs, admitting he's been left completely behind in the race for power. From above, another monkey prepares a stealthy dive right at his distracted friend's back, but a jet of fire blocks the attack, saving Mo Long's life at the last second. In perfect teamwork, the other members hold their own, defending each other. Dodging the swipe, Mo Long hears Shang Zuo yelling at him to dodge right. The mage gets real, saying they can't just be dead weight always depending on the hero. With bloodshot eyes, Shang Zuo remembers that this is their graduation exam too. Agreeing, his twin brother Shang Yu prepares his support magic at the same time. Summoning green spiritual vines, he tells the beast to taste the elemental power of nature. But the D-rank monster shatters the roots in an instant, laughing at the pathetic strength of the attack. The beast breaks free in the blink of an eye, scaring the boys with its absurd resistance. In a cold sweat, Mo Long warns that he's going to slow the scumbag down to give them a chance. Using Cloud Chant, a freezing blast hits the monkey head-on. With his hands glowing blue, the nerd chills the beast and tells Shang Zuo to attack with everything he's got. Taking advantage of the slowed monster, Shang Yu casts another plant restraining spell. In a perfect combo of ice and vines, the beast gets trapped, looking like a statue. Holding the roots tight, the two brothers ask Shang Zuo to finish the job. Igniting his own fist, the mage screams as he prepares a concentrated flame bomb. The explosive flame projectile hits the monster's chest dead on, causing a boom. But the smoke clears, revealing the beast furious and still alive despite the severe burn. Shang Zuo panics, firing more fireballs that barely scratch the tough fur. In an explosion of rage, the monkey breaks the vines, freeing its muscular arms. Trembling with exhaustion, Shang Yu warns that the spell will break in a few seconds. Malong also reaches his mana limit, unable to maintain the ice any longer. Knowing it's all or nothing, Shang Zuo summons a massive rage-fueled sphere of fire. With red eyes, he channels every last drop of energy into the final attack. Leaping into the air, he smashes the focused flame projectile right in the beast's face, causing a monstrous explosion. The smoke spreads and the drone beeps, confirming the official defeat of the ghost bat monkey. Exhausted and sweaty, the three celebrate the impossible feat of taking down a D rank through sheer grit and teamwork. Si Chen arrives, panting next to the team, congratulating them on their hard-won victory. Shang Zhu flashes a proud smile, joking that it was too easy. Suddenly, the drone appears, floating, and announces that all regular monsters have been defeated. In the control room, Director Gong Xuan stammers, shocked, not believing the screen. The monitor displays a warning that a D-rank monster was eliminated by E-rank students. The vice president of the Alliance smiles, intrigued by the team's performance. With his eyes fixed on the screen, he notices the serious, focused face of our hero. Carl Cavendish quietly comments that the boy reminds him of an old acquaintance from the past. Memorizing Sai Chen's name, he settles into his chair, expecting more surprises. The director coughs to get the room's attention, pointing to the other monitor. On the screen, Gong Ting's team has already reached the halfway point of the lair, massacring everything in their path. Sigrid praises the group's perfect coordination, worthy of a professional team. The vice president agrees, saying that this year's batch of students is excellent. The old director smiles mysteriously, warning that the real fun hasn't even begun. In Gongting's lair, the team faces the dangerous D-rank miasma mushrooms. With a support spell, Vice President Liu plays a green melody. A female mage creates a purple gravitational field, pulling all the monsters to the center. Forming a clump of mushrooms, the creatures are completely immobilized in the trap. Without wasting time, the president draws his flaming sword, his eyes glowing. A massive fire tears through the air, incinerating the entire group of monsters in a single blow. Wiping his bloodied blade, Gong Ting exudes an aura of unquestionable power. Talking with the team, the students realize the monsters are exactly the same as in their private training. Whispering among themselves, they confirm that the exam was rigged to make life easier for the president. Laughing with confidence, the team celebrates, thinking the champion title is already in the bag. Meanwhile, on the icy summit, Si Chen stares at the horizon covered in snow and fog. The trash team, panting, finally reaches the top of the D-rank lair. Blood stains the snow around the corpse of the gigantic ice ghost monkey. Xiang Zhu swallows hard, commenting on how the dead creature still looks terrifying. Suddenly, the monster's red eyes fly open, and it lifts its head, growling. Mai Long screams in panic, warning that the beast is still alive and wants a fight. In a violent leap, the giant monkey charges the team, roaring furiously. Sai Chen intercepts the attack mid-air, delivering a kick charged with golden lightning. The force of the blow sends the monster flying back, dragging it across the ice. With a dull thud, the huge body slams into a rock wall, creating a cloud of snow. Without giving the enemy a moment to breathe, our MC advances at an absurd speed. Shang Zhu is dumbfounded, seeing the beast being humiliated so easily. The drone announces the gain of 200 XP points for the monkey's definitive defeat. Si Chen finds the small amount of experience and pathetic loot strange for a D-rank lord. Just then, his gaze is drawn to an intense glow coming from the destroyed rock. He calls the team over to check out a hidden cave full of blue magic crystals. Mai Long deduces that the beast must have been stockpiling these precious gems in the hollow tree. Shang Zhuo is already doing the math, dreaming of the wealth and easy life they'll have. Suddenly, one of the larger crystals starts to crack, emitting a blinding light. A colossal ice explosion sends all the team members flying. The attack is identified as an ice blast bomb, freezing the entire area. The team's bracelets start beeping, indicating critical danger as the dust settles. On the control room screen, Si Chen's team's signal is suddenly lost. Director Gong Xuan gives a sarcastic smile, blaming the intelligence of high-level monsters. Sigrid becomes worried, and the vice president suggests sending the rescue team immediately. The director intervenes, asking for patience to see if the students can handle it themselves. He uses the normal vital signs from the bracelets as an excuse not to act now. According to him, the choice to withdraw must come from the students themselves, not the supervisors. In the lair, Malong sneezes, shivering from the cold and trying to recover from the shock. Xiang Zuo grumbles that his cloud class saved everyone from instant freezing. A deep growl echoes through the cave, drawing the survivors' attention. In the midst of the snowstorm, a skeletal figure wearing an ice crown emerges. Malong recognizes the creature as the Frozen Bone King, a C-rank monster. Known for being sadistic and cruel, he plays with his prey before taking them out. It dawns on them that the previous ice explosion was just a trap set by this lord. The nerd realizes he has no chance against a C rank and focuses on healing the frozen Sai Chen. Before he can act, a sharp ice spike pierces his left leg. The impact throws Malong to the ground, screaming in agonizing pain. The Bone King laughs maliciously, preparing more cowardly attacks. The bracelet beeps, detecting the serious injury, and asks if he wants to abandon the exam. Even bleeding, the boy refuses the offer, focused on thawing his friend as quickly as possible. He uses Spring of Purification, magic to slowly remove the negative status from the MC. In an instant, another spike pierces his shoulder, drawing another roar of agony. The pain breaks his concentration, and the healing magic fails miserably. The giant skull cackles and begins to conjure a shower of deadly ice stakes. The system alerts maximum danger and insists on the escape option before it's too late. Staring at the screen, Malong remembers all the times he ran away out of fear and weakness. His history of cowardice always resulted in bullying and humiliation at school. But with the team's help, they fought hard and came a long way in this exam. The chance to change his destiny and no longer be the class punching bag is in his hands. With a look of pure hatred, he ignores the pain and swears he will not give up, no matter what. With his eyes glowing green, the nerd's purification magic breaks its own limit. An intense flash pushes the ice away from Saichen's body in an instant. The monster retreats, surprised to see its prey break free from the frozen prison. In an explosion of golden lightning, the MC charges forward like a thunderbolt. Activating Lightning God, he intercepts the shower of spikes with a colossal kick. Exhausted and injured, Malong smiles sheepishly, saying the hero ended up breaking free on his own. But our boy praises his friend's help and asks if his injuries are too severe. He focuses his gaze on the C-rank monster, remembering that this creature is absurdly strong. Protecting his wounded partner, he prepares for the real fight to begin. Suddenly, the Bone King conjures a giant ice blast bomb in the sky. Laughing hysterically, the skeleton floats in the air, loving its prey's despair. Mao Long screams in terror that it's impossible to dodge an attack of that size. With a deafening boom, the bomb hits the ground, creating a mushroom cloud of freezing energy. But when the snow settles, Si Chen is unharmed thanks to his body ability. The monster's laughter freezes, not understanding how the human survived a fatal blow. The nerd with glasses eyes widen, stammering about the new icy power enveloping his friend. Shocked, he questions how a Volt assassin can suddenly use cloud abilities. The penny drops and he asks if Sivchen is a dual class awakened, something incredibly rare. Apologizing for misjudging the situation, the hero admits he exposed them to unnecessary danger. With clenched fists and an exploding purple aura, he promises to end everything right there. And in a display of pure power, he activates the Rakshasa of Purgatory, drawing his colossal sword for the final blow.